Welcome to Season 4, Episode 6 of COMMCast. I'm your host, Evan Woodall. COMMCast is a production of the Longwood University Communication Studies Department in the COM 434 Comm Lab class, a show dedicated to highlighting the Longwood and Farmville communities. On today's episode, let's get to know more about Longwood softball. Joining us on set today is the head coach of the softball team, Dr. Megan Brown. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Brown.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. First off, could you tell us about your coaching background prior to Longwood and your experience coaching in conferences like the ACC and SEC?
I've been really blessed to have a lot of opportunities to coach kind of all around the country. So started coaching in the SEC when I was getting my PhD at Auburn, kind of got my feet wet there, coached at UNC Pembroke, got an opportunity to move Division I at UConn, Akron, then moved to Boston College, spent 4 years in the ACC, which was an amazing opportunity to grow and learn in that conference, which now has expanded nationwide. And then had an opportunity to go be the pitching coach at Cal under Diane Niemeyer in her last year of coaching. And then upon her retirement, had a chance to move into a head role, and that's kind of what brought me to Longwood.
Well, great. Seems like you've been all over the place so far.
I've got some frequent flyer miles with some moving companies, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And since you've been at Longwood, you have great success so far coaching, having multiple 30-win seasons and a Big South regular season title. Is it challenging to keep the expectation of remaining competitive each year?
I think that's a challenge for every program. I mean, how do you continue to grow the program? How do you continue to build upon really great foundations? The previous head coach obviously had amazing success and 5 championships. So continuing to build on a really great foundation that was established is every coach's dream to be able to do. But the credit really goes to the amazing young women. We are very blessed with who we have on the team and just getting to work with them each day.
Absolutely. In the past couple of years, Longwood has had one of the toughest schedules in the Big South. Just starting this season, your team has already played teams like Alabama, Clemson, Villanova, and other top SEC and ACC teams. What is the reasoning for selecting such a tough schedule?
It's kind of several-fold. So one of the big pieces is when I was hired, the team had been to a regional championship. Coach Riley took the team to 2 regional championships games, but we hadn't taken that next step to a super regional. And that was what I was challenged with when I was hired of how do we get this program to a super regional? Well, when you do the math, super regional is top 16 teams in the country, so we need to be a top 25 team. And the first time you play a top 25 team, it's a bit overwhelming. And the big piece is you have to learn to play at that level. It is a very different level, and so you have to learn to play there. And the only way to learn that is you have to go and experience it. You got to play in a big stadium with a big crowd when it's hostile and it's loud. How do we respond when those things happen? How do you respond when you get down? How do you respond when, the best player in the country is standing on the mound and you're having to hit off of her? How does that set with you? And then how do you come back in each week, say, okay, this is where we're strong, this is where we need to solidify some skills, and this is where we've got to make some big growths. So it paints a very clear picture very quickly of where you are as a team, what you do well, and then where you need to grow. But it's the only way to get to a higher level. You have to keep pushing yourself. Iron sharpens iron, but it doesn't get sharp, rubbing against cotton. You got to go play the best in the business. You got to go find some iron to sharpen yourself against.
Right. So very intentional.
Yes, very much.
Yep. And something that every collegiate softball coach has to manage is the transfer portal and recruiting. So how do you and your staff manage your team in your recruitment process when players have easier access to transferring?
Transfer portal there's good and bad to it. It's like most things. Some people said, it's going to be the end of college athletics. I'm reserving panic till we have to have that. But the big thing with managing recruiting is you've got to find the right fit for your program. What kind of players play best in your program? And that doesn't mean your program's great and everybody else is bad. It's what's the right fit for you? What's the right fit for how we want to coach, the conference we play in, the schedule that we play? The schedule we play isn't for everyone. Some people are like, I don't want to go play all that. Okay, great. That might not be a great fit for you. But the young women that we have coming into our program, they come here to play that schedule. They come here to go face Valerie Cagle from Clemson, which we did on Saturday night. They come here for that. And so finding those young women who want that level and who are willing to come in, it's like, hey, I've got to grow. I can't just come and be okay. I've got to come and grow every single day. So it's finding the right fit. For us, fit is more important than talent. Obviously, the young women we have are extremely talented, but you've got to find both. If you don't find the right fit, the talent won't do you much good. Right. You've got to have the right fit. And so we find extremely talented young women who are the right fit, and that's how we build our team. But our schedule is a huge recruiting piece for us. When I first came here, I'd never been a head coach. So they're like, are you any good at all? Which I honestly didn't know at first. So still question that on a daily basis. But that's the piece you got. What brings a really talented player to Longwood? How do you recruit to Longwood? And every school has their challenges and every school has their advantages. One advantage for us is you're going to play the best teams in the country. And that's very intriguing to really talented women. So that's part of our recruiting pitch.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems to be working well for you. Just last season, 2 top 10 wins. I mean,
we were very, very blessed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Brown, for sharing more about yourself and your coaching style. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with COMMCast Trivia. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, COMMCast Trivia. We'll be asking Dr. Brown trivia questions about collegiate softball. Here's our first question. What college pitcher has the most strikeouts of all time in their career?
I would say Monica Abbott.
Monica Abbott, let's see. That is correct. 2,400, a little over 2,400 strikeouts.
If I don't know, I'm going to make stuff up, so here we go.
Well, you're doing good so far. The next question, which college coach has the most wins in their career?
I think Patty Gasso has finally gotten it, but it was either her or Mike Kendrea.
Let's see. Yeah, Carol Hutchins.
Yes, I forgot Hutch.
It's all right. Next question. Who won USA Collegiate Softball Player of the Year last year?
I believe it was Valerie Cagle.
Is it Valerie Cagle? Correct, Valerie Cagle.
Oh, we saw her on Saturday night, so it's pretty fresh.
Right. And lastly, how many home runs has Jocelyn Allo hit in her career?
It's in the 80s.
In the 80s? Let's see.
Oh.
122, which is the most ever.
So.
Sorry, well, you did good. Good job at COMMCast Trivia, Dr. Brown, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. We wish you and your team good luck for your series against Gardner Webb this weekend.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to everyone with CommLab behind the scenes, and thank you for watching. I'm your host, Evan Woodall, and join us live next Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. on YouTube for another episode of COMMCast.